Hey, good morning. How you guys? Already, I feel like I've had a big day. I've been out and about, and hi, Linda Switzer. And so I'm running a little late this morning. Usually I do this by 9 o'clock. And anyway, here we are. I could tell a story of the morning already, but I won't. Although I did get to Cafe Bino in my excursion this morning. Oh, that's my first sip. I brought my Beano home and mixed all my stuff in it that I love. Isn't life great? So I just was thinking a bit a minute ago about how easy it is to be in the mind and not know it. And the mind is always painting a picture of a brighter future, often a brighter future. Well, sometimes it paints a picture of a more desolate future too, but at any rate, whatever the picture that the mind's presenting of the future, it's bullshit. And so have you ever thought, well, I'll be happy when? I'll be happy when this happens. When I get my house in the country, when I move to Bali, when I get that guy, or I have that gal, or I'll be happy when. And then we lament, why has this not happened yet? Why has this not happened yet? So in the moment, we're not happy because we're waiting for something to happen so we can be happy. And how silly could that be? But it's what we do. It's the how the mind is geared, and many of the great teachers have said that desire is the thing that takes us out of the moment. Desire, wanting, takes us out of the moment. Now that doesn't mean that that we, are just a blob. That we're like just. What's happened is that life becomes an adventure. We live in a different way of not knowing, and if there is a preference, like I have on my list, it's a bucket list of things. I want to go sailing. I've liked the idea of going sailing for a long time, so it just comes up. It isn't like, oh my gosh, I'm such and such an age, and if I don't get sailing soon, maybe it'll be too late, maybe I won't be healthy enough. That doesn't come. It's just, oh, so I mean really sailing, like deep water, blue water, South Pacific sailing. And it's there. But I'm not attached to it. It's not like, oh my gosh. It just comes up. And so I imagine that if it wants to happen, it'll happen. If it keeps coming, it must want to happen. Something's cooking somewhere. But it's not, I'll be happy when I sail the South Pacific. Because in this moment, I'm happy. Or is there such a thing as happy? It's just a sense of peace or contentment, and which is beautiful. Many tests this morning, vehicles that didn't work, and all kinds of things that, and keys that are lost, and phones that were left, and and none of it seemed to upset this thing that's this me these days. Me. I don't even know that it's me. Anyway, having let go. So just watch. The whole idea of self-awareness, consciousness is, to see, you know, when we're in a mode of wanting things to be different or people to be different. Oh, I'll be happy if she does this, or I'll be happy if he does that. Or, so when we're in that mode of non-acceptance, also that's closer to the moment than this idea that I'll be happy when I get to climb Mount Everest or that kind of a thing. Or if we achieve something, we'll be happy. Or we get our certain driver's license or, whatever, some certification, I'll be happy. I can do something when I get this. And I'll be fulfilled or complete. It's all just the mind. It's bullshit. This is the moment. Be here now in full acceptance of this moment. Really being here. And watch the mind. The mind's not our enemy. It's just can't be trusted. That's all. It's like it's like a child who, have you ever had children and maybe there's 3 of them in the house and all of a sudden things are really quiet, and you don't go, oh, the children must be having a great time, things are really quiet. You're like, what the hell are those guys up to? So the mind is like a pack of children. It's always got stuff going on. and we have to, it makes sense to keep our eye on it, to be present, to be aware, to be with it. So that's it. I just want to share that with you. And now I'm going to read from my little book that I read from every day. And I've been thinking lately, does anybody know what day it is? It's the 18th, I think. Yeah, okay. It's the 18th. I'm probably going to switch this little book maybe at the end of July. I'm looking for another little daily book to read. I like this book, but it's written in 1954 by a fella who kind of had limited, his beliefs were limited. And I'd like to find a book that speaks of more openness, really more love. And his beliefs were pretty limited. So I'm probably going to switch. So enjoy this. And I'm looking for something else, another book. If you have an idea of a daily book that you'd love me to read, or if you enjoy these readings, just let me know. And also remember that this is, if you ever want to talk about anything, consciousness, what's happening right now, how can we be more present? How can we awaken? How can we awaken into the moment? How can we awaken into now? I'm available to talk about that. I don't want you to think that I'm always in that space, because sometimes I still get caught, but very less often. And yeah, so if you want to talk about it, we can talk about it. Call me, or we can have a visit and chat about it. Awakening. I know it sounds like something mystical. It actually isn't. Enlightenment. We're all being enlightened daily. Here we go. July the 18th. Thought for the day. 2 things can spoil group unity: gossip and criticism. So he's talking about the 12-step group, whatever it is. At that time there was only AA, but now there's CA and NA and SA and GA, EA. There's a lot of people adopting the 12-step way of life for whatever, to help them move through whatever thing that they're stuck in. And because of the similarity, whatever the addiction is doesn't really matter. The thing that we move through is the second half of step one always says, the first step says we're powerless over whatever we were addicted to, whether it's alcohol or sex or relationships or drugs, food, gambling. So that's the first part of step one. The second part is the most important part, is that our lives are unmanageable by our minds. We're conditioned so strongly to be able to use our beautiful mind. We all have beautiful minds, but the mind is tainted. It's always tainted, trying to slant things in our benefit. And as we're doing that, trying to make things benefit us, it takes us out of the game. Instead of being there wholly, as without bias, we're there in it from a biased position. So we're always going to be naturally selfish, and that's the unmanageability that happens in our lives. So when we start to live a kind of a now-centered or God-centered or awareness-centered, consciousness-centered, universal intelligence-centered life, we surrender because we know that we're always going to be biased for us. No matter what, we're always going to be trying to work an angle from a limited place. We surrender, then we're living from a different place, a place of service, a place of love, and that's the essence of the 12 steps. Is the steps that from there on, through 12 help us to move into that or out of that self-centered living to a God-centered living. Neat, eh? Anyway, two things can spoil group unity: gossip and criticism. To avoid these divisive things, we must realize that we're all in the same boat. Yeah, we all have that mind that's self-centered. We're like a group of people in a lifeboat after the steamer has sunk. If we're going to be saved, we've got to pull together. It's a matter of life and death for us. Gossip and criticism are sure ways to disrupting any 12-step group. We're all in the 12 steps to keep sober ourselves and to help others to be sober. And neither gossip nor criticism help anyone to stay sober. Am I often guilty of gossip or criticism? I have gossiped. So be aware. Be aware. It's beautiful. Meditation for the day. We should try. See, this is the language of 1954. He says we should. I'm not a big should guy. But here, so that's why I'm looking for something a little more modern language. We should try to be grateful for all the blessings we have received and which we do not deserve. Not a sentence I would write. Anyway, it's time to move on. So let's say, instead of we should, let's be grateful for all the blessings we have received, which we, from our place of ego, have not deserved. Gratitude to God for all his blessings will make us humble. Well, yes, it does humble the ego, gratitude, because we recognize that we're powerless, and so everything, life actually gives us everything we need. Actually, look at the amazing life we have, even as we've worked against it, in spite of us. Imagine the life we could have if we were not in resistance, if we were in the flow, if we were saying yes. Beautiful. Just say yes. Gratitude to God for all his blessings will make us humble. Remember that we could do little by ourselves, and now we must rely on God's grace in helping ourselves and others. People do not care much for those who are smug and self-satisfied, or those who gossip and criticize. But people are impressed by true humility. So we should walk humbly at all times. We could walk humbly. So let's walk humbly at all times. Gratitude to God and true humility are what make us effective. Prayer for the day. I pray that I may walk humbly with God. I pray that I may rely on his grace to carry me through. So that's the reading for the day, you guys. And practice being here. There's lots of things that guideposts to bring us into the moment. And when we're dreaming of a happier future, that's a signpost. It's like, oh, look at me. I'm back dreaming of a happier future, which, just takes us out. Or if we're dreaming about a dangerous future, or, economic collapse future, or how will I pay the rent future? Again, that's ego. It's not now. So just watch those, and in each moment when that's happening, just be present. Say, oh, look. Breathe into it, and it'll just melt. We'll surrender it, and it melts. Whatever the picture is that we're conjuring up of our future, just recognize that it's not true. And no matter what, just breathe into what is in this moment. And what happens to be happening is the mind going whatever. So just breathe into that, and our thoughts can bring up fear, and just breathe into the fear. Then we're here, and the fear melts away. Okay. Anyway, love you guys. Have a super, super Saturday, and we'll talk soon. Monday night. So I want to remind you, we do our meditation at 7 o'clock on Monday night, and you're welcome to come here on Monday and hang with us here at the house. And I'm hoping that 2 or 3 people come. Even if a half doesn't come, that would be fine. Okay. Hey, Kim Fraser, just finish it up. Have a listen. Thanks. Love you lots. Cheers. Bye.